Hey, hockey fans, welcome to Goal Line Hockey, and we're going to continue the season outlook series today as we take a look at the Dallas Stars. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and to subscribe as well as we take a look at the Dallas Stars. Taking a look at the points leaders for the Dallas Stars this season, leading the way is Tyler Seguin with 77 points in 80 games played. Alex Radulov 70 points in 68 games. Jamie Benn, 52 points in 77 games. John Klingberg, 44 points in 62 games. And topping off the list, Miro Heiskanen with 33 points in 80 games. So just with a quick overview of these guys, not too long ago, back in November, December, the owner of the Dallas Stars came out and had some explicit things to say about his hockey team in Dallas. He was upset with the superstars. He wanted more from Tyler Seguin. He wanted more from Jamie Benn. He felt like they weren't contributing enough, and if they didn't get going, this team wouldn't make the playoffs. And he was kind of right. Some people were obviously upset. Tyler Seguin and Jamie Benn not excluded from that. But looking at the points leaders, there is a little bit of truth to that, and here's why: 77 points for Tyler Seguin. That's not a bad season by any means. But when you're talking about a hockey team that is not that they don't have an identity, but Tyler Seguin is really one of the leaders on this hockey team, as well as Jamie Benn. And Jamie Benn being the captain, you would hope for a little bit more from him. And I think the problem with Jamie Benn we're starting to see is he's not the fastest guy. He doesn't score every night. But I believe that in Jamie Benn's defense, he's a great veteran leader. He's a great guy in the locker room. And, he's a guy that other teams hate. And he's really good at that. He's a power forward guy. He scores some goals, but there needs to be more from those guys. And Jamie Benn being the captain, I know Tyler Seguin, a lot's expected of him as well. Radulov had a great season, 70 points. Klingberg, 44 points, that's a great season. And Miro Heiskanen, no discredit to Miro Heiskanen, but 33 points being one of your top 5 point producers, it's not enough. And that's because of the lack of scoring depth on this hockey team. And there's just some issues. You expect a little more. I mean, you look at Martin Hansel. They signed him to that big contract a couple of years ago. Made that big trade with Minnesota. Probably regretting that a little bit now, but it is what it is. You got to deal with it, and that's something that the Dallas Stars are going to have to be dealing with. And they were hoping for more from Radek Faksa, Rupe Hentz, but it's one of those things. You can't expect everything from these guys, but you really expect a little bit more than what they've done this year for the Stars. The Dallas Stars record is good enough for the Stanley Cup playoffs this year. 42 wins, 31 losses, 7 extra points, meaning overtime loss or shootout loss. That's good enough for 91 points. As I said, that's a playoff team right there. 4th in the Central Division and 16th in the NHL. And they're 4th in that Central Division because the teams ahead of them are Winnipeg and Nashville, who are projected to be Stanley Cup favorites. And the St. Louis Blues, who were in last place in January, came all the way back. Probably my favorite right now to possibly win the Stanley Cup. But that's besides the point. So, yeah, they're 4th in that division, but that's a really solid division. And teams have fallen off like Minnesota, Chicago, but this is still a really good division. And you see Colorado right behind the Dallas Stars. This is a really, really good division. So Dallas is going to have to play a tough team. It seems like they've got that that first wild card locked up. So they will probably have to play either Nashville or Winnipeg, barring how the season ends. But no easy way for the Dallas Stars around this one. It's either Winnipeg or Nashville, and they will have home ice advantage. And Dallas might have to play a Game 7 in Winnipeg or Nashville if they get that far. And the main reason the Dallas Stars are in the Stanley Cup playoffs this year, as we talked about, there's been some scoring depth issues in Dallas, but somebody had to make up for that, right? That's the goaltending. Ben Bishop and Anton Khudobin, one of the best goaltending tandems in the NHL this season. Absolutely took over, really good. And looking at Ben Bishop's stats, he's got a .933 save percentage, a .203 goals against average, 26 wins and 45 games played. So maybe you'd be hoping for a couple more wins there for Ben Bishop, but all those other stats, a .203, a .933. I mean, that's some really good stats. But the biggest issue for Ben Bishop, again, is his health. Can he stay healthy? And this might be a real issue for the Dallas Stars in the playoffs. And taking a look at Anton Khudobin, played last year in Boston, had a pretty good year. But a .926 save percentage, a .247 goals against average, 16 wins in 40 games played. So the glaring thing here is the wins again, but that's because of this team not scoring enough goals. They're keeping the puck out of the net, but they're not scoring enough. And we'll see what Jim Montgomery, the head coach of this hockey team, does. Now they've had, because of Ben Bishop's injuries, they've had to call up another goaltender. One from the Texas Stars of the American Hockey League, Landon Bowe. He's got a .947 save percentage, a .103 goals against average. He's only played in 2 NHL games so far, so that's a little bit deceiving, but those are some good stats for 2 games in the NHL. Looking at the goals for and goals against for this team, as this issue is highlighted once again. Goals for, 206 goals for, that's 29th worst in the NHL. Goals against, 196 goals against, that's second best in the NHL. So again, they're keeping the puck out of the net, but they're not scoring enough. So the issue continues for the Dallas Stars. And scoring is going to be an issue. And heading into the playoffs against teams like Nashville and Winnipeg, have some really good defense. It's going to be tight games, but they got to get some more production. Not only from their stars, but from their depth throughout the lineup. Now, barring a miracle, if the Dallas Stars lose in the first round of the Stanley Cup playoffs, not all hope would be lost, because you look at these prospects that they have. You've got Jason Robertson, Ty Fellhaber, Ty Dellandre, Denis Gurianov, and Joel Lesperance, who a lot of those guys are already playing in professional hockey. A lot of them are playing in Texas with the Texas Stars, the American Hockey League affiliate of the Dallas Stars. So some of these guys have already played a little bit in the NHL, and they're going to need some of these guys. A couple centers there and a couple wingers. I don't see a lot of defensemen there, but when guys like Spezza retire eventually, Hansel, they're going to have some center spots available. Blake Como's, who else? Once those guys leave on the wing, some of the guys you have now might get booted out for some of these guys like Lesperance and Gurianov and Robertson. So we'll see what happens with the Dallas Stars. Obviously, I like the guy Landon Bowe in the American Hockey League, but Ben Bishop's injured again. So we'll see what happens with the Stars. The Dallas Stars definitely need Ben Bishop this year in the Stanley Cup playoffs if they want to go anywhere. But we'll see what happens. Like I said, the future looks bright. You've got Miro Heiskanen, who you stole in the draft not too long ago, and he's not that he's going to win the Calder, but I wouldn't be surprised if he's at least in the conversation. And we'll see what happens with the Dallas Stars. Thank you for watching here at Goal Line Hockey. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and to subscribe as well. Thank you all for staying tuned, watching, and make sure to check out the rest of this season Outlook series here in 2019. This is a great season, and kind of to celebrate, we take a look at all the NHL teams heading into the summer and beyond into next season. Question of the day: will Tyler Seguin get 90 points next season? Have a good one.